Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Surah Al-An'am, ayah number 12. قال الله تعالى: قل لمن ما في السماوات والأرض قل لله كتب على نفسه الرحمة ليجمعنكم إلى يوم القيامة لا ريب فيه الذين خسروا أنفسهم فهم لا يؤمنون. He's asking a rhetorical question. Say, O Prophet, to whom belongs all that which is in the heavens and on earth? Say it belongs to Allah. So this refers to all those things in the heavens and the earth, whether they have intelligence, such as humans and angels, or whether they do not have intelligence, like animals and other particles and material things. The purpose for this question is to censure the kuffar, in that if you know that Allah owns all that which is in the heavens and the earth, then is it not true that He also is worthy of worship? Then why are you worshipping all these various idols that have no share in the heavens and the earth? He says He has ordained on Himself a rahmah, meaning obligated it on Himself. No one else obligates anything on Allah Jalla wa Ala, because no one else has authority over Allah. But He can obligate things on Himself. Or some say that a better way of interpreting this would be that He has promised that He will be merciful. They say nothing is obligatory upon Allah, but rather He makes promises which He keeps. And both of these interpretations are very close in meaning. He says, لَيَجْمَعَنَّكُمْ, He will surely gather you together. The lam and the noon shadda are for the emphasis. The lam at the beginning, they say it is a jawabul qasm. It is an answer to an oath. The oath being Wallahi لَيَجْمَعَنَّكُمْ. But the Wallahi is mahdhuf because it is well known. He says إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ, meaning to say on يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, there is no doubt about it, and that you should not feel anxious. So rest assured that there will be Yawm al-Qiyamah. He then says, those who lose themselves, meaning they are unable to avail themselves and help themselves on Yawm al-Qiyamah, because they are going to enter Jahannam. So they have lost their own selves because they could not help themselves to success on Yawm al-Qiyamah. He says, فَهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. The fa is za'ida, just to embellish the speech. Otherwise, originally the sentence would read, الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ هُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Those who lose themselves, they are the ones who do not believe. The فَهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ should not be translated as so they do not believe, because that would not make too much sense. Because then you would be saying that they do not believe because they have lost themselves, whereas in reality it ought to be the other way around. They have lost themselves because they do not believe. That's why we say the fa should not be translated to so. Rather, the fa is za'ida. It is an extra letter just for the tahseen, for the embellishment of the speech, but it does not have a particular meaning itself in this sentence. Okay, so reflecting on ayah number 12, we take that Allah Jalla wa Ala is the Rabb because He owns all these matters in the heavens and the earth. So that would then lead us to conclude that Allah is the only one worthy of worship, and that's where the issue lies. We also take the plural number of heavens, samawat. We know there to be 7 layers of heavens, of course. The earth is one earth, but it has 7 layers as well, as we find from Surah At-Talaq. It's just that the layers are joined on, whereas with the heavens, the layers are separated. That is why heavens is given in the plural sense, whereas earth is given in the singular. We notice how in this ayah, Allah asks the question and then answers it Himself, and this is fine, as long as the answer is obvious. We also take that Allah has a nafs, He has a self. Of course, His self is not the same as our selves. We also take that there is a Yawm al-Qiyamah. This is the ultimate destination where we will all be gathered together. This is a vital point of Aqidah, without which you cannot be a Muslim. We may also take that Allah has ordained a rahmah on Himself, and this is out of His perfect nature. He only promises that which is right and proper. He will not ordain oppression on himself, because that is not from his perfect justice and grace. Ayah number 13. وَلَهُ مَا سَكَنَ فِي اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. He says, and to him, as if to say, to him alone belongs that which sakana lives, or you can even say exists, in the night and the day. Now everything exists during the night and the day because there's no third time period. And he says that he is the As-Sami', the hearing, and the Alim, the all-knowing. Okay, so reflecting on ayah number 13, we find the same thing as before. Allah Jalla wa Ala owns everything. Whatever resides in the night and whatever resides in the daytime, it is the dominion of Allah Jalla wa Ala. And so therefore he is worthy of worship. So Allah Jalla wa Ala uses a fact which even the mushrikun agree with, and uses it to conclude a fact which they do not act upon. So it's as if to say that the mushrikun are being inconsistent in their worldview. If you acknowledge Allah to be the Rabb and yet not worship Him, that is an inconsistent worldview. We also take the names of Allah Jalla wa Ala, the Sami' and Al-Alim, along with their attributes which are fitting to Allah Jalla wa Ala. Ayah number 14. قُلْ أَغَيْرَ اللَّهِ أَتَّخِذُ وَلِيًّا فَاطِرِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَهُوَ يُطْعِمُ وَلَا يُطْعَمُ قُلْ إِنِّي أُمِرْتُ أَنْ أَكُونَ أَوَّلَ مَنْ أَسْلَمَ وَلَا تَكُونَنَّ مِنْ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Again, say, O Muhammad ﷺ, should I take as a wali, as a guardian and a helper and a patron, other than Allah, Fatiri, meaning the originator and the creator of the heavens and the earth. The Fatir is maksur bil kasra because it is a badal of lafzul jalala Allah, which is also maksur bil kasra. وَهُوَ يُطْعِمُ, he feeds, meaning he feeds humans and animals and things that need feeding. وَلَا يُطْعَمْ, and he is not fed, because of course he is divine, he is the creator. He does not have the characteristics of humans and animals. Say, O Prophet, Inni, indeed I have, umirtu, been ordered, to be the first of those who embraces Islam. That is to say, from this ummah. Otherwise, of course, there were Muslimin before the Prophet. وَلَا تَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ, and that you must never be from the mushrikeen. The nun shadda is for tawqid. Notice it moves from first person singular to a prohibition for the second person singular. You would think it should read وَلَا أَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. So there is an iltifat. It's as if the Prophet is saying that it has been said to me, you must never be from the mushrikeen. And of course an order to the Prophet, or a prohibition to the Prophet, is also an order and prohibition to us. Reflecting on ayah number 14, we learn that the only wali of the Prophet is Allah Jalla wa Ala. And then likewise, our only wali is Allah, the one who helps us and aids us, and the one on whom we put our trust. We also find that Allah is the Fatir of the heavens and the earth, meaning the one who creates and originates, where before there was nothing similar to the heavens and the earth. But we also find that Allah feeds and is not fed. And this is of course a clear distinction between the divine and the creation. Humans and animals need to feed. The divine does not need to feed. And what rolls off this point is that we rely upon Allah Jalla wa Ala on our provisions, not on anyone else. Any ability or opportunity you have to earn a living comes from Allah. So it all returns back to Him. So your tawakkul therefore needs to be on Him, and your gratitude must be directed to Him also. We also take that the Prophet is the first of the Muslimin from this ummah, and that he is also told to announce this. So it gives you the sense that one ought to be proud to be a Muslim. It is like a ni'mah which you have been privileged with. You should not be ashamed of your faith, as people of weak iman are. We also find the Prophet is prohibited from committing shirk. Of course, that may seem obvious, but it needs to be mentioned because these are fundamental matters, and of course we are also prohibited from committing shirk. Of course, it ought to be said that the Prophet was never going to commit shirk. No Prophet ever commits a major sin or shirk whilst they are a Prophet. Nevertheless, the orders and prohibition apply to the Prophet just like they apply to us. Ayah number 15. قُلْ إِنِّي أَخَافُ إِنْ عَصَيْتُ رَبِّي عَذَابَ يَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ. The words here are straightforward. Say, O Prophet, Inni, indeed I, akhafu, I fear, in asaitu, if I disobey, Rabbi, my Lord, a punishment of a great day. Talking about Yawm al-Qiyamah. Reflecting on ayah number 15, we notice the Prophet is afraid of the punishment of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Now, in practice, this is not going to happen. The Prophet will be saved from the frights and punishments of Yawm al-Qiyamah. But the ayah is telling us that if you commit sin or ma'siyah, disobedience, then you are liable to be punished in Yawm al-Qiyamah. Also, Yawm al-Qiyamah is referred to as a great day because on that day there will be great matters taking place. And as for the events of Yawm al-Qiyamah, that's a whole lecture in and of itself. Ayah number 16. Man yusraf anhu yawma idhin faqad rahimahu وَذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْمُبِينُ. Whoever is yusraf, from sarafa yasrifu sarfan, to turn something away. Whoever is turned away or averted, anhu, from it, meaning from such a punishment on Yawm al-Qiyamah, yawma idhin, on that day, meaning Yawm al-Qiyamah, faqad, then, rahimahu, he has given him mercy, meaning to such a person Allah has shown mercy. And that is the obvious and plain success. Now this word yawma idhin is a shorthand of a whole sentence which originally reads yawma idh yaji'ul adhab, the day when the punishment comes. Reflecting on ayah number 16, we find the actual success, and this is when Allah has mercy on you on Yawm al-Qiyamah and saves you from the punishment, and thereby entering you into Jannah. This is the plain success as the ayah tells us. Now if you look at this world, people will tell you something completely different. They will tell you that success is having a high-paying job, it is to have an attractive-looking wife, and to be driving an expensive car, living in a luxury house, and so on. And this is where having knowledge saves you from misguidance. When you read ayat like these, you then know what real success is. Otherwise, it is easy to be brainwashed by what the people are telling you. We can also say that Rahmah is from the attributes of Allah Jalla wa Ala, and only the believers on Yawm al-Qiyamah will be shown mercy. In this life, even the disbelievers are shown mercy when they enjoy the ni'mah of Allah Jalla wa Ala, when Allah wards off punishment from them, does not take them to account immediately, gives them respite. All of this is from His mercy. But on Yawm al-Qiyamah, mercy is only reserved for the believers. هذا والله أعلم.